In this video, I'll be demonstrating a brief warm-up that you can use before any of your training sessions. We begin on the floor and work our way back up to standing. You certainly can add any warm-up exercises that you wish to your program, but this is just a few key exercises that I think hit all the right spots before training. First thing we're going to do is start down on the floor, and we're going to go into a rocking position. So you're going to be on your hands and knees. Your hands are going to line up right underneath your shoulders, knees underneath hips, and you're simply going to rock back, packing your shoulders and going into a hip flexor work using your hip flexors into a squat-like position with a flat back. So you'll do this maybe 6 to 10 times, with the idea of warming up your hip flexors, keeping your shoulders packed, creating a nice flat back. You're also warming up your feet because you're in dorsiflexion, although you could go flat foot as well. Turn from the side, it should look like this. Or if you prefer feet flat on the floor, you can do it this way as well. So we call that rocking. From here, the next thing we're going to do is that same rocking motion, but this time we're going to take one leg out. So now you're going to get a really big stretch in that straight leg position. And you're trying to rock back as far as you can here. Return back to that quadruped position. And you'll take 6 to 10 reps on that side and then switch legs. And you may notice that one side you're better at going back further than the other. That could be as simple as knee mobility. So you just want to listen to your body and go where you can safely. Again, packing your shoulders, creating a nice flat back, and pulling back into that deep squat-like position. Now from here, we're going to go into what's called pumps. Basically what I'm doing is like a yoga downward dog position, where I go up on the balls of my feet, push my head through my arms, let my heels go toward the floor where they can, creating a nice stretch there through the calves, and then back into an upward dog position. So I'm pushing back, coming through. And I'm going to do this 6 times in a flow-like cadence, with the intent of working through my hip flexors, my abs, packing my shoulders again, lats engaged, and stretching through my back and hamstrings. Now from there, I'm going to come into a strider rotation, and I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. The first way is a modification of a true strider position. So you'll come up to one knee, one leg in front, and you're going to open up with this outside hand and rotate through your thoracic spine. You can stay here and do it all on one side, each time hopefully creating more range of motion, keeping that arm straight, as well as the arm that's on the floor. Then switch, other side. Looking at that hand in the air. And the harder way is to go into a full strider position with your legs straight behind you, and then rotate. This is harder. And of course, if you wanted to go back and switch to the other side, you can. Keeping that back leg straight. And down. Now from here, we'll stand up, and we're going to use a light kettlebell for this next part. So what we're doing is head nods, where I'm simply taking the bell behind my body with a light grip on the kettlebell. So the kettlebell is just resting in my fingertips, And with tight abs and tight glutes, I'm going to simply take my head down and back into head nods, creating a gentle pull through my cervical spine and loosening up any tension in my necks and trap. And then I'm going to take my head side to side, trying to look over my shoulders, still pulling my shoulders down. Creating that stretch and load. And then finally, side to side, which is a smaller range of motion, but still very effective for alleviating tension in the shoulders, neck, and traps. Shake that out a little bit, and then we'll go into something called halos. Halos is a great upper body opener, but also it can be discomforting for anyone who has any sort of shoulder impingement or shoulder pain. So if you're working through something like that, halos may not be an exercise you want to add to your routine just yet. But if you are able to do so, you're going to take a light kettlebell upside down, holding it with your lats here, and you're going to frame your head. So I'm going deep behind, down in front, 5 in one direction, really working through my scapula, shoulders, and upper body. And then I'm going to take that direction 5 in the other way. That should feel very good for an opener for your upper body. The last thing I want to show you is a goblet squat with prime. This is in regard to warming up your hip flexors before workouts, especially if you're tight there to begin with. What you want to do is take a kettlebell, hold it goblet style by the horns, find your comfortable squat position, what's right for you. You're going to pull down using your hip flexors into that deep squat, wherever that is for you, and you're going to pry into your hips, thinking about visualizing of prying your hips apart, working through your feet, come up, and you'll do that 5 or 6 more times. Pulling down, pry, elongating your back, keeping your abs tight. From the side view, pull down, pry back and forth into those hips, and up, pull down, pry, and up. When you're finished with that,